This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, December the 20th, is an icon not for his hockey playing, but for his broadcasting. He did play 11 years in the NHL, being in the All-Star game twice. But it's what he's done as a broadcaster. He's broadcast 5 different Olympic games. Has worked for ESPN, NBC, ABC, Versus, Comcast, and TNT in the United States. Amazing. He's even worked for CTV, CBC, Rogers Sportsnet, and Sirius in Canada. He's worked for that in Canada? I don't remember that. He's even been in All My Children and part of TV ads for Chevy, Bud Light, and Deep Off. In fact, he was a 2K sports broadcaster for NHL hockey and NHL 2K5, which I have done a few series on. 2K5 with, of course, I would say, I think Doug Emmerich was the main guy, and then Bill Clement was the guy. No, Gary Clement and Bill Clement. No, Gary Thorne and Bill Clement. But then Clement, a couple years later, would be part of the NHL franchise from 07 to 14. Okay. Regardless of that, Bill Clement, December 20th, 1950. So he was 74 years old, from Buckingham, Quebec, which is close to the Ontario border. That's why the name is Buckingham. Regardless of that, he played hockey in Verso, a nearby town, with Guy Lafleur. Ironic enough. That's amazing. He would be in the juniors with the Ottawa 67s of the OHA, which was the predecessor to the OHL, in 3 seasons. So good job he went to Ottawa. And then the Flyers decided to draft him 18th overall in the 1970 NHL draft, which was pretty good. The 1970 draft, of course, is the big one that saw Gilbert Perreault be named the first pick, as Buffalo won a roulette wheel thing with Vancouver to be the number 1 pick. Dale Talon went number 2. Philly's first-round pick went to Boston, and Boston took Rick McLeish. Ironically enough, McLeish would go to Philadelphia later on in his career. You also have Reggie Leach in the Riverton Rifle in that draft. Daryl Sittler drafted in the first round, and Dan Maloney. So Philly had the 4th pick in the second round. Buffalo took Butch Deadmarsh. Vancouver took Jim Hargraves. Minnesota, through a series of trades, took Buster Harvey. And then Philly took Bill Clement from the 67s, 18th overall. Weird thing was, the Golden Seals, number 19, took Pete LaFramboise, or the Raspberry, I guess if you want to call it. I think Framboise is Raspberry, isn't it? Yeah, I think his last name is Strawberry. Nevertheless, yeah, he was the first pick of the Flyers in the 1970 draft. He would play 4 years with the Flyers after finishing his career and being part of the amateur in the minor leagues. He was the 4th-line center for the 74 and 75 Flyers, winning the Stanley Cup twice. So it was amazing that Bill Clement did that. And I believe Bill Clement is the guy who scored the Cup-winning goal in 1975. Credited with getting the Cup-winning goal in 1975, I should say. So anyway, before the 1975 draft, the Flyers shrewdly decided to trade Clement to the Washington Capitals, the crappiest team in the world. You know, they only won 8 games that year, for the right to draft Mal Bridgman first overall. Now, the question in my mind is, was that a good move or was that a bad move for the Flyers? Well, Mel Bridgman did play 14 years and went to 2 Cup finals with the Flyers, so meh. In all seriousness, the first round just sucked. The only 2 key players in the first round draft that were good, other than Mel Bridgman, were Tim Young and Bob Sove. So that's saying a lot. So yeah, he was traded to Washington to get their number 1 pick. It was kind of shrewd. Speaking of shrewd, I talked about that with Sam Pollock on the 15th about about his shrewdness. Anyway, Regardless of that, he played 46 games and was team captain in Washington. And then, for some strange reason, he was traded to the Atlanta Flames for Jerry Meehan, Sean Lemieux, and the first round pick in the 1976 amateur draft. So I don't know what uh, Washington did with that pick. Anything. That first round pick was a little bit huge. Well, Buffalo via Atlanta. That was yeah. They took Rick Green, but that pick was number 15, and that was Greg Carroll. Eh. Regardless of that, he went to the Atlanta Flames. He would play in the Flames organization in Atlanta. Then, after 1980, Atlanta was sick of hockey, and Calgary with the franchise, giving Canada their fifth NHL franchise. No, sixth. Sorry, because Toronto was first. Well, Toronto and Montreal were first, then Vancouver, then Edmonton and Winnipeg came in the WH8 before Calgary was taken to let. So anyway, he retired during the 1982 NHL season. He retired. He played in only 2 All-Star games, 76 and 78. He would put up only 354 career points and only had 8 points in 50 playoff games. He was known for a common, consistent passing game where the rhyme Clement, hands of cement. It was a big taunt and all that. After retiring from hockey, he decided to be the lead color commentator for ESPN's hockey coverage. First with Doc Emmerich in 87 and 88, and then Gary Thorne between 1993 and 2004. You would always hear Gary Thorne and Bill Clement be the best ESPN/ABC broadcasters and all that. And, giving the analysis. Anyhow, Thorne and Clement would be members, would do color commentating for NHL 2K5. Well, Bill Clement actually was the color commentator for NHL 2000 and 2001. NHL 2000 would be the first NHL game I would own outright for any console. I did have NHL Stanley Cup for the Super Nintendo, but they didn't have the players. They just had the numbers. They didn't have the players' names or announcers in it. But yeah, NHL 2000 was big. My brother got me NHL 2000, and for PlayStation 1, and it was nice hearing those things. Of course, the classic jerseys were my favorite thing, but anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, NHL 2000, 2001 with Jim Hewson being the color or the play-by-play guy, and then it was Thorne and Clement for ESPN / ABC / and then they were NHL 2K5 when they really had some great classic jerseys and all that. That was my go-to game for the PS2 in a sense. I like 2K6 too because it had historic rosters and all that of teams, and had Bob Cole and Harry Neal do the stuff. But regardless of that, Clement would soon be with Thorne for NHL from 08 to 14. Thorne and Clement would call the Stanley Cup Finals every time from 1993 to 2004. It was always amazing to hear their voices when the cup was presented and all that, except for 1995, because Fox had Game 4. Although ESPN did have coverage of the 95 finals and all that. But anyway, Clement would be the lead color commentator on Sports Channel America's broadcasts of hockey in 89, 92 till 92, and then part of regional broadcasts with the Flyers. He was a studio analyst for NBC during the hockey in 2002 Winter Olympics. He was actually the play-by-play announcer for table tennis, pentathlon, and badminton for both 2004 and 2008 for NBC. I don't know how you could be a play-by-play guy for table tennis. But he said he won provincial championships playing badminton in high school. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, he did a lot of Flyers broadcasting as color commentator. Yeah, from 1986 to 2004, he broadcast at least one Stanley Cup Finals game out of every series, with ESPN from 86 to 88, Sports Channel America when they had the U.S. rights from 89 92, and then ESPN stealing those rights back from 93 to 2004 and ABC 2000 to 2004. He was the studio host for the 2006 and 2007 finals. Clement announced his retirement from broadcasting at age 70 in 2021, and then ironically enough, he was actually given the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award for outstanding contributions as a hockey broadcaster, which, just like the Ford Frick Award in baseball, gives you automatic entry into the Hall of Fame. So he's now he's a Hockey Hall of Famer. He married his current wife and had 2 children and resides in Pennsylvania. His daughter graduated from the Hun School of Princeton, and his son Chase graduated from high school and went to Delaware Valley College. So yeah, so he wasn't much as a player, but as a color commentator, he was second to none. I mean, he was the Flyers' main color commentator for many years, from 89 92 and then 07 to 2021, and part of the Stanley Cup Finals broadcasting and all that. So yeah, he's a legend for ESPN/ABC stuff. You knew whenever they did a game, Clement would be doing the color commentating, and even in video games too. So hey, best of both worlds. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do